So in the past, for those that haven't heard the Citizen Academy pitch, that's really why I put it on the agenda. I wanted to use this as an opportunity to raise up awareness for this program, let people know that the application process will begin in November, and we would encourage people to take a look. And the program itself, for those of you that are newer to the table, this is something that we started in 2022. We had our first class. We had 12 individuals go through that. It was kind of an opportunity for us to test drive the program, but then also learn a lot as we went through. And one of the things that we learned is that the program is tremendously effective. This is an opportunity for us to demonstrate the phrase that we all hear, transparency in government. This is what transparency in government looks like to the city of Bismarck. If you want to know what we do, how we do it, the program is for you. It's a 12-week program intended to increase participants' knowledge, their engagement, communication between us and our constituents, demonstrate government excellence, and as I mentioned, promote transparency. Little criteria: you must be 18. We prefer to have Bismarck residents participating in the program. When we go through and evaluate the applications, there is a scoring sheet that we compile, and one of the components of that is whether or not the applicants live in the city of Bismarck. We feel that because this is a Bismarck-centric program, the residents of Bismarck should come first. However, if we get less than 20 Bismarck applicants, we would certainly be welcome to or open to considering applicants that don't live in city limits. One applicant per household, and we do really prefer people come to every week. Now, we realize a 12-week program for 3 hours a night from 6:30 to 9:30 on Thursdays, beginning in January and ending in March, is a large commitment. However, one of the questions on the application is, do you anticipate being able to attend each week? And if there's a noticeable number of inability to attend, we would look towards somebody that has a commitment to all 12 weeks over somebody that says, well, I'm going to snowbird for the first month and then I'll be here for the rest after that. As I mentioned, we try to shoot for a 3-hour session. We start at 6:30 every night. The first year out, we had a hard time containing our enthusiasm, and we had several nights that went past 10. It wasn't just because staff was so excited to talk about the program. We had wonderful questions from the participants as well. And what we're talking about here isn't just a classroom setting. We're talking about a balance between a classroom setting and tours, where you're going to see things like the water treatment plant, which is on the screen today. Obviously, with 15 departments, there's a lot of material to cover, but when we can show off our facilities, that's a big part of what we're trying to do. Getting behind the scenes looks at public health, the event center, the police department, the fire department, the water treatment plant. We're going to have a new addition this year, 2 new additions this year, with a brand new public health facility and also a new roads and streets facility out at Public Works. So there are things that are going to be different than last year, but there are many things that are going to be the same. And here's the schedule. We'll start out with week 1. It's kind of a drinking from the fire hose scenario with week 1, because what we're really trying to do is lay the groundwork for the next 11 weeks. And so we talk about the foundational components, the core tenets of what it takes to run municipal government, but we also highlight the city commission, city administration department, human resources, the legal department, and then we're going to take a trip across the street over to municipal court. Judge Severin does a wonderful job running the applicants through what it's like to be in front of him. And if you haven't had that pleasure, it is worth it. He tells wonderful stories of all of his years on the bench and some of his experiences. After that, we get into the finance department. Obviously, our finance department has different divisions, so we'll focus on IT and GIS, assessing, and then also fiscal services. But week 2 with the finance department, again, reinforces that foundational information, because that's where we really get into the budget. That's where we start talking about how departments are funded, where property taxes go, what sales tax looks like. The first 2 weeks are a lot of classroom discussions, and again, just kind of building that baseline information. From there, we get into more of that hybrid between classroom and tour. So with week 3 going to service operations at Public Works, event center, airport, community development, and engineering. We pair those two departments together because they work a lot on development-related projects. They're also physically side by side across the hall from one another, so it works to kind of split that group. Our cohort of 20, we'll split them into 10 go to engineering for the first half, 10 will go to community development for the first half, and then we'll flip-flop them all the way through. So there's opportunities for smaller group discussions and more engagement between the citizens and the directors and the staff, because that's really where the answers to the questions become evident. Then we can go over to the utility operations side. That's when we'll be out at the water treatment plant. This is the part of the year where it's really cold outside, so it's nice to be able to get out and see some of these facilities and experience what really goes on in these environments on a regular basis. Follow that with the library. Then we head up to CENTCOM. We'll be at the new public health facility for week 10. Week 11, we're at the fire department, and week 12, we end at the police department. And we're very deliberate about ending at the police department because the police department also has a citizen police academy. So for anybody that didn't get enough information in that 3-hour session, there's an opportunity to come back for a very hearty dose of what it takes to run the police department as well. And then week 13, we bring everybody in here, we get a group photo, we present everyone with a certificate of completion, and it's just a nice chance to kind of put a punctuation mark on the end of that sentence. I just wanted to maybe share some of the photos for anybody that's at home or watching online. Just kind of an example of what we're looking at. Again, some classroom operations, but then we get into the tours. This is out at the Public Works Surface Operations side, so we're looking at streetlights and traffic signals. Then we're out in the shop and looking at what it takes to maintain the fleet for this very large organization. When we get to the event center, you see what the control operations look like. We'll go down on the arena floor and see demonstrations of the lights and some of the different setups that they've got. And depending on what's going on at the event center, there may be a sneak peek at some of that kind of backstage operational things, transitioning from events to other activities. We get out to the airport. There's a nice blend of classroom style at the airport, and then we go to places that most people will never see within the airport. Obviously, there are TSA restrictions, and that would be different, but we'll get into how some of the baggage is dealt with and some of that other behind-the-scenes stuff. Water utility, obviously this is one of the highlights for a lot of people. Everybody drives by that building on River Road again and again, and many have wondered what's inside. Well, this is your chance to really get a look at how the water is treated in this community. This is the kind of the front end. Last year we had a strong interest in where does the water go when I'm done with it? And so we had an extra week where Travis and the team at the wastewater treatment plant hosted, not the full group, but those that were interested. I think there was about a dozen of the 20 that were able to make it. So they got a bonus week last year, and saw how water's handled on the other side. Community development did some planning operations or some planning activities with people and kind of gave them an idea of what it takes to build a land use plan and think about what does the future of the community look like. Obviously, the fire department and the police department have some pretty nice things to show off as well. CENTCOM is very interesting. This is, again, another one of those opportunities to see something that you might not otherwise get a chance to see. And the CENTCOM operations is just a tremendous facility, and we actually found ourselves in that top left picture. That's basically looking into the dispatch area where the dispatchers are doing their work. Obviously, the library is a wonderful place, and if you're a guest of the library, you might have some of your favorite spots that you hang out in, but we got to see everything on the front side, the back side, the bookmobile. That was a really great experience. And then, ending at the police department, if you can see that photo on the right, you'll notice that smiling participant just got done in the pistol range. So that is part of the experience that goes along with this. It's not mandatory, but it is certainly available for those that choose to participate. Then a picture of the two groups. We had 12 people the first year, 20 the second year. We'll do 20 again this year. So I guess that kind of closes out my sales pitch. On the screen, again, the highlights, 12 weeks, starting the first Thursday in January, 6:30 p.m. And the application window closes end of the month of November. It will open November 1st, so we're a little bit ahead. Won't be a time to apply just yet, but within a couple of weeks that'll be open. So if anybody's got questions, they can certainly call our office, they can stop by.